Hi, Mr. Whitney here with another drawing for you. I'm going to be showing you how to draw an easy landscape with a um, with a um, simple foreground, simple middle, and simple background with this. This is really nice little layer. You're going to start. I'm using pencil for this to make sure my drawing turns out just the way I want it, and then I'm going to ink it in. So I'm drawing a line here, which doesn't really show up well. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to transfer over. What I want you to do, and you will be happier, is use pencil drawing all the way through. I myself am going to be drawing, which is a lot harder. I'm going to be drawing with using the ink step. So I'm going to grab out, and this is one of my ink pens that I use for when I do my cartooning and my coloring books. So going through here. So here's what I end up doing. I draw that out. So I'm going to ink it so you can see it. So I'm going to just ink it as I draw it. So right over it. The bad thing about inking as you draw is if I make a mistake, I have to live with the mistake. So in the main part of this, I'm going to be drawing a house. And I once decided I want to try and do a 3D house. And even though I'm inking it as I draw, I'm committing with it. So at the end of this house, I'm going to have a window and the house itself. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to get a door and keeping it really simple. I'm going to throw in another window here and then another window here. Not too much. Don't want it too crowded. Get too crowded and it gets too complicated. Then I'm going to go through and throw a roof on it. And again, I'm keeping it simple. I probably would usually add more detail than that, but I'm keeping it simple. I'm going to put a couple trees. I'd seen trees like this the other day, something that looked like this. So I'm just going to put a couple trees here, keep it real simple. These nice tall trees. And again, simple is the thing. So I've got that. This is my middle. Whoops, letting that cartoon in here. Then I've got my background. My background, I'm just going to put in my background right here. And I want to have a background, so I'm going to go through and get this layered in. In my background, I want to have some hills. I want to show that there's some hills right in here. So there's some hills right in here. And then I've got my sky. Simple again, just putting in a few clouds right in here. I really want the sun out still, but we're getting to that time of year where it's not. So I'm just going to fill my sky. I'm going to actually add an extra cloud thinking about that. So I got another cloud in there. So I've got my foreground or my background in my middle, and then now I'm going to put my foreground. My foreground, I'm imagining that this place, there's a driveway or this tree right here in between these trees, there's a driveway. So this driveway, and as I come out, the driveway is going to get bigger. So I'm going to take and swoop this out and where it gets bigger. So it gives that effect that I'm going right towards that house. Close this in right there. So I can see I've got my house right here. I've got the drive. If I was using pencil, I think I would have put the house down a little lower, maybe, or even in the middle. I'm not quite sure with that where it's at. Then I'm going to take and go through and I'm going to color. I myself like to color with crayon a lot. I am very reluctant to grab markers, which is funny. I don't know if it's a teacher in me that comes out. Students are always, "Oh, Mr. Whitney, can I use markers?" And I'm like, I suppose. I don't know what it is with me. It's one of those things. So today I'm grabbing markers and I'm just going to color in my house. And this is being simple. So with it being simple, notice I just color right over the windows. I'm going to go through and I'm like, you know what? I'm stuck with that theme. I'm going to color right over the door. Can you still see it's a house? Yes, I can still see it's a house. It looks good. So I've got the house colored in there. Then I'm going to go through, I want this house. This is kind of, there's a little yellow and red. I like those together. So I'm going to do a little yellow, a little red in here, color that house yellow. And there we go. Then I got my trees. I only have one shade of green as I go through. So I need to go through, and the green is going to be the one that's my high real estate. I know that this house I want to have grass, so I'm going to be putting some green in here, coloring in the green, and I want to give this kind of this mode effect. So I'm just coloring my marker in the same direction all the way down. Tuning in here, okay. Oops. All right, good. And give it that right over here, that same direction. Oops, and I want to make sure I don't go the line here. So that whole mode effect. So notice I'm just pulling the marker along here. Okay. So I've used green right there. I also am going to have green been here because the house back here. So I'm going to take and I'm going to pull down with the marker, and I am coloring a lot darker around the house. That is how I'm able to use green in two spots. So I'm going to get the green right in here, and notice I'm coloring that green. I'm going over and over and over again so I can utilize having one color and I still can get the depth into the drawing. Simple things to do. This one going through, I'm like, color pencils, but I would suggest using on this, or crayon. Again, not too often I'm in the mood to use marker, and I'm making the marker work for me. So I'm getting at a depth. So in here, the camera is not picking it up the greatest, but I'm really coloring this in hard. So I've got the two layers, so you can really see they got the depth. As we go further back, the green gets darker. My trees, I want to make them pop out. So I'm going to just color with brown real quick here on the bottom. And then being that we're into fall, I can use orange for the tree. Just color that in here for the tree and just color those in there. So I got the tree. So I'm still popping forward. My hills, I'm going to go through back here at the hills. I'm just going to take this pink. Pink will work out nice. Imply that maybe there's some sun out, like some sun coming up or sun going down. Coloring that pink right around here. And I'm going to color this one in pretty dark. As you see, I'm going through coloring pretty hard with that one. Make that one darker. And then I'm just going to use the pink over here again. And do that more layered thing. So it's lighter and running it across there as fast as I can. So it gets that lighter effect. So I got a darker hill and then a lighter hill. You can do both of them light. You can do both of them dark. Kids are usually fascinated. Adults are too when I show them that, with a Crayola marker, depending on how you use it, you can go fast. I hope that didn't make you jump. It made me jump. So going through, it's my silly old woman of a dog here going through. I don't know what. She's looking at the screen. So I've got the big screen up in the classroom on the board. So she's watching. She likes to watch what I'm doing. So it's pretty funny. I'm going to tilt the camera over here so you can see her. This is pretty amusing. So she's up there. So she sees herself. Now, do you see what she's doing? That's me. Wait a minute. So it's focusing in. Little distraction right there. It's not going to focus it all the way on her. So little things we do. She's always been my drawing companion, and I like having her with me. So, dude, she made me jump. So continuing on with the drawing here, I've used pink and used blue. I'm grabbing a different color each time that I go through. Definitely want my sky to be blue. Crayola marker, and this is what I don't like about it. It goes so dark. So again, I'm really trying to get that to not layer over too much with the Crayola marker. And you can space out. So notice I'm just kind of doing this little brush stroke with it and lining it up. So the blue doesn't darken my artwork and take away from it. So I'm just taking and just brushing through real light. And I like it when it catches there. It doesn't go all the way down. If you have dried out markers, that's good. Or if you have a variety to a lighter colors, I have alcohol markers that I use at home, which I can do more of a layered effect, and I enjoy those. So there we go. So I've got that layered effect going in there. I got my sky broke up there, really lightens the blue. And then the last thing I need to do is I got the driveway. So I'm just going to take the driveway, and again, just take the marker, and I'm going back through, and I'm just kind of going through, and I kind of scribble it in because the gravel goes through and takes the gravel and takes that effect. So get that going in, and I'm just making sure I get all the white covered up with it, like such. Get that layered effect. We go in here, on here, and take it and just make sure I got it covered. And again, just holding that marker and taking it through. It's interesting, as I see on the screen, it's got a lot of white on there, and there's not white left on here. So there you go. There's your 3D landscape. Have fun with this. This is a great one, very defined. I did this very comical, being that the black ink was inked in. taking colored pencils in there, having fun with it. You could do the inking in and then color in with colored pencil, which would be a lot of fun to do. Taking and with that, crayon, I think would work way better. I am a big liker of crayon, and I knew when I was your age, I was like, oh no, I don't want to do crayon. The teacher always says do crayon, but crayon, there's a lot to be done with that. I really enjoy that, the taking that and doing, and I really try to meet you and try different mediums out. So hope you enjoy this. Look forward to seeing your pictures you share with your teachers.